Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, could you tell us your full name, please?
Joseph Kenneth Jesus,
And where are you currently employed, Mr. Jesus?
Osceola County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been a member of the Osceola County Sheriff's Office?
Sworn in by myself approximately 3 years.
When you say sworn, that seems to me that you're trying to differentiate a different time when you were with the Sheriff's Office. Were you with the Sheriff's Office when you were not sworn?
Yes, for approximately 6 months for the academy, 3 months FTO.
Okay.
A little more than 3 months.
So what is your current assignment at the Osceola County Sheriff's Office?
I work for the patrol division in Central Osceola County.
And what do you do on a daily basis as a patrol deputy?
I take calls for service, and any other time I do proactive.
Those of us not in law enforcement, what does a call for service mean? Just give me some
Yes, sir.
examples.
Yeah, call for service is anybody who calls for law enforcement, whether it's a civil matter, disturbance, retail theft. Really, anytime you call us, we get the call and we come.
Okay. Deputy DeJesus, were you employed and on duty with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office back on Sunday, February 27th of 2022?
Yes, sir.
And did you end up responding to an event that occurred at a Wawa gas station located at 3951 Central Florida Parkway that afternoon around 6 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you respond in reference to a suspect who had allegedly fled from the police after a traffic stop?
Yes, sir.
That's the reason you went there.
Yes, sir.
Were you wearing full police uniform that day?
Yes, sir.
Driving a marked patrol car?
Yes, sir.
That car had lights and sirens on top?
Yes, sir.
And was anyone riding with you in your patrol vehicle?
No, sir.
Was your patrol vehicle equipped with a camera on the front dash?
Yes, sir.
And did you have body-worn camera on that day?
Yes, sir.
So let's start with the body-worn camera. Is the cameras that you have now different than the ones you had then?
Yes, sir.
Can you show the members of the jury where the body-worn camera you had was located on your person back in 2022?
Back then it was probably a little lower than my breastbone.
Center mass.
Center mass, yes, sir.
Right. Do you recall when those body-worn cameras activated, when they turned on? Was it manual or something else?
It could be either be manually or it could be with lights and sirens. Well, the light bar would activate, excuse me.
Right. So that I understand, what you're saying is you could flip it on manually, right?
Yes, sir.
Or if you turn the lights on in your police vehicle, it would also operate or switch on your body-worn camera.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. How long did it take you to get to the Wawa gas station once you heard the call that that's where you were supposed to go? Do you recall?
I would say probably 10 to 15 minutes approximately.
All right. And were you driving with your lights and sirens activated that day as you went to the Wawa?
Not the entirety of the time, no, sir.
All right. Did you at some point turn them on?
They were turned on. I had to get through an intersection and make a left to go on the road that led to the Wawa. That's the only time that I activated my lights and sirens.
All right. That Wawa gas station, that's located in Orange County, Florida. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what did you see when you first pulled into the parking lot at the Wawa gas station?
When I first pulled in, I saw Crawford and Kofinas on top of the individual. They were trying to gain compliance. I heard cut the gas, and that's when I observed the vehicle that was pumping gas right beside them. So I took the gas out, put it in. I could smell gas from the floor area, and I could observe the gas. I looked around to see where it was coming from. I noticed that the dirt bike or motorcycle had the cap off and it was on the floor still. Gas was still coming out. So then that's when I went to lift up the gas to stop the gas from continuously leaking. And then that's when eventually the fire went up and then everybody dispersed the area.
All right. So there was a lot in what you just said. We're going to try to unpack
Break it
that
down,
a
yes,
little
sir.
bit. When you first pulled up, you said you saw Kofinas and Crawford. Who is Kofinas? You know his full name?
I can't recall his first name. I know his last name is Kofinas, Deputy Kofinas.
He's a deputy.
Yes.
Right. Crawford, is he also a deputy?
Yes.
Prior to this day, did you know Deputy Crawford?
No, sir.
Do you know him now?
Not on a personal level, just the name, sir.
Would you recognize him if you saw him in court?
Most lucky, yes, sir.
Right. Do you see him in court today? If you're not sure, that's fine.
I'm just going to say I'm not sure.
All right, so prior to this day, you had no dealings or knowledge of Kofinas or Crawford other than maybe knowing their names.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, so you pull up and you see them, and you said, I believe, that they were on top of another individual. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Could you see what the individual was doing that they were on top of when you first arrived?
The only thing I can say is that I observed that he was resisting. They were trying to grab his hands.
Okay.
I can't specify exactly every single movement that he made. I just knew that he was resisting as they were trying to place cuffs on him.
All right, so let's walk through it now. You pull up in your car. Did you immediately jump out?
As soon as it was in park, yes, sir.
All right. Do you remember seeing Kofinas and Crawford when you were in the car, or did you not see them until you got out?
Until I got out. Once I got out and made a right, that's where the gas pumps were located.
Right. When you made a right, was that in front of your police vehicle?
Yes, sir.
All right. So then you see Kofinas and Crawford, they're on top of them. Were they the only two deputies on top of, we'll call them for now, the suspect? Were they the only two on top of them?
At that time, yes.
All right. So what did you do? Walk us through what you did.
So I saw that they were on top of the subject. That's when I heard cut the gas.
All right. So stop there. Do you know who said cut the gas?
It'd be Deputy Crawford.
And how do you know that it was Deputy Crawford who said cut the gas?
Just based off of me observing him say it, and I could hear who was coming from. And
So what I'm interpreting that is he was in a location and the voice came from the location where he was.
yes, sir. I was able to identify which person said it. Yes.
Understood. So you heard Deputy Crawford say cut the gas. What did you do when he said that?
That's when I looked up. I saw that a vehicle was to the right of them, still pumping gas. So my brain went to let me take the gas out and put it into the gas pump.
All right. So what I understand, what you're describing is going out of your car, coming up, and they're in front of you, and you said there's a vehicle to the right.
Yes, sir.
Right. You hear cut the gas from Crawford, and you go to put the pump away from that car.
Yes, sir.
All right. What did you do after that?
That's when I turned to the left, and like I said previously, I guess I could smell the odor of gas, and then I could see gasoline on the floor.
All right. So let's stop there. Is that the first time you saw the gasoline on the floor? Is after you plugged the pump in, or did you see it before that?
I could smell it as I was running up.
All right. So you could smell. I want to be more clear about that.
Yes, sir.
Could you smell gasoline in the way that you smell gas at a gas station, or could you smell it stronger, like it's puddling on the ground?
I would say it's stronger than the normal smell of it.
Right. So it's not like just you're cruising through a gas station. You could smell the odor pungently. Is that fair? Strongly.
That's a fair statement. Yes.
Right. Okay. So, and you smell that as you're running up, but you said the first time you saw the gas pooling was after you plugged in the pump. Do I have that right?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
The first time you saw the gas on the ground was after you plugged in the pump.
Yes, sir.
All right. And if I say something wrong, please correct me, okay? All right. So now you plugged in the car, you put the pump back from the car on the pump. That would mean the pump is to your left?
Objection.
Sustained.
Was the pump to your left at that stage?
You're going to have to say that again. I'm trying to picture it in my brain. I apologize.
I'm trying to help you. So as you're standing there, you described plugging the gas pump, taking it out of the car and putting it in the pump. You're standing there, is the pump on your left at that stage?
The way you're explaining it sounds like the pump would be to my right, the vehicle would be to my left.
Okay, is that the way you remember it?
Yes. The way you're explaining, unless I'm picturing it
So
wrong.
let's not worry about how I'm explaining it. You tell me what you remember. What do you remember? Where were you and where was the pump when you plugged it back on?
So I had to pass by them. So they're in between the vehicles here. I mean, the vehicle's here. They're in between the vehicle. The gas pump is here. So,
Okay.
so the gas pump, as I'm going past them, the gas pump would be to my left. The vehicle would be to my right. As soon as I took it out, put it in, as soon as I turned the direction, then the gas pump would be to my right.
I understand. What did you do after you plugged it in and saw the gas pumping?
That's when I turned to the right and noticed that the dirt bike, the motorcycle, had the gas cap off. It was turned on its side. It was still leaking gas. So then I went to lift it up and then it ignited.
When you went to lift the motorcycle or the bike up, did you get it all the way upright before the fire started?
No, I got it partially up, but definitely not upright all the way.
You said you saw the gas cap. Did I hear you say that?
Of the dirt bike?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Where was it when you saw it?
Not the gas cap, I just saw that it was open itself.
So when you say open, do you mean that it was not all the way screwed on, or that there was no cap on the bike, gas cap?
I wouldn't be able to definitely say. All I remember is observing. I can't recall if it was a cap itself or how some it's still connected and just comes up. I can't recall.
But is it your recollection that the gas cap was in a position so that the gas could spill out and was spilling out?
Yeah, that's definitely correct, yes, sir.
All right. Did you drag the bike?
No, sir.
Do you remember any sparks coming up from the bike when you tried to pick it up?
Not that I observed, no.
All right. So, and then the fire started. Do you remember seeing or hearing anything before the fire started that you haven't described so far?
Not in person, no, sir.
When you say not in person, what do you mean?
Well, not in person at that time. I didn't hear anything, but of course, reviewing the body camera is obviously different.
Okay. So at some point you had...
Objection, Your Honor.
Approach.
After the fire broke out, what did you do after that?
That's when I observed, from what I recall, I observed Deputy Cofines. He had, can't recall which leg, but I remember one of his boots was on fire, and then Deputy Crawford, both of the lower of his legs were on fire. So that's when I went to the nearest vehicle. Unfortunately, it wasn't mine, so I couldn't find the fire extinguisher at first, but then I eventually found a blue Gatorade bottle and then poured it on Deputy Crawford's legs to eventually let the fire go out completely.
When you described seeing Cofines on fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes? Is that a yes?
Yes.
I have to answer out loud.
I apologize, yes, sir.
You're doing great. Don't worry about it. And then you also saw Deputy Crawford's legs on fire. Is that a yes?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you see anyone else on fire at that point?
Not in person, no, sir.
Okay. At some point, after you poured the Gatorade on Deputy Crawford, did you eventually make your way back to the victim, Jean Barreto Bayerga?
Yes, sir.
Did you observe his injuries?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe his injuries, the ones that you observed there at the scene?
It appeared to be his whole upper body was completely burnt, and a lot of the skin just peeling off and hanging off.
Now, you told us earlier that your police vehicle had body camera, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that it was operating that day?
Yes, sir.
Have you had a chance to review your body cam?
Yes, sir.
Now, may I approach the witness who has been marked as State's Exhibit A? You've been shown to counsel. Deputy DeJesus, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit A. For us old people, it's a compact disc. Can you listen to the contents of this disc?
Yes, sir.
And what does this disc contain? Do you remember?
The body camera, the in-car and my chest body camera.
And after reviewing the video on this disc, does it fairly and accurately depict the events of February 27, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Remember, this time we asked the court to admit State's AS Case 1.
Any objection?
For record purposes, I'm publishing the in-car video, which is one of the two videos on State's Exhibit 1. And I'm just going to go through and stop it and ask you some questions occasionally, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, now, Deputy DeJesus, I see, and I've got a laser pointer, I'm going to try to help do this a little bit. There's a car in front of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this vehicle, this is in front of your vehicle,
Yes, sir.
right? And who's that?
That'd be myself.
Right? It's going to be awkward, and I apologize, but when you answer a question, you're going to have to kind of pivot,
Oh,
answer, and go back.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So The car in front of you, do you know who the deputies were in that vehicle?
That'd be Deputy McLean and Deputy Dominguez.
All right. So, now, you would agree that you're off camera here.
Yes, sir.
And can you tell the members of the jury what you were doing off camera while this video was running?
That was when I stepped over them and he took the gas out of the vehicle I was gassing up and put it into the gas tank. Into the, put it back into the gas.
Now, in this image from where your vehicle was parked, can you see the dirt bike?
No, sir.
Where would it be in relation to the video? To the right or to the left?
To the right.
So I'm going to go back. I just stopped it at 17:54:13. Going back to 17:54:00. There's an individual in the background on the ground. You see that person? Or did you see him? I can run it back again.
Can you run it back again?
Yes, sir. No problem. Right there. Did you see the person right there on the ground?
Yes, sir.
And who was that person? Do you know?
I'll be honest with you, I can't clearly say.
Honestly,
It could either be two people, but I don't want to guess.
Okay. And deputy, who is that person right there in flames?
That would be the victim.
I'm stopping it at 17:54:17. This vehicle right here that's in front of your patrol car at the time, where was that vehicle when you first arrived?
I'll be honest with you, I can't give an exact because I didn't pay attention to that vehicle.
All right. There's also, do you see this right here?
The juvenile?
Some, in non-law enforcement terms, that's a child.
Child, yes.
Right, okay. Do you know where that child was when you were conducting your activities at the gas pump?
No, sir.
Deputy DeJesus, did you just see the individual who kind of ran around the patrol car with the fire extinguisher?
Yes, sir.
Do you know who that person was?
It appears to be an employee for Wawa.
All right. Okay. You said that on that day you also had body-worn camera that was functioning, is that right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
You have permission to publish the body-worn camera?
Yeah.
So I just played it all the way through 17:54:07, and I'm going to back it up and ask you some questions about what we saw. who the deputy immediately in front of you is?
Judge, at this time, prior to continuing with anything else, I'd like to go through a completeness before we go back and view individual clips.
I don't know what that means. I'll try to do a better job of stopping and slowing it down. All right, so 2 deputies on the screen. Again, can you tell us who they are?
One would be Deputy Dominguez and one would be Deputy McLean.
All right, and now as you run towards the pumps, we can see that same vehicle that was on the in-car camera. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
All right, and is that the vehicle that you end up unplugging the pump from and plugging it back in?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so now, who is this person right here? Do you know?
Deputy Kofinas.
All right. Now let's stop the video at 17:53:48. Do you see the 2 individuals standing on the right-hand side?
Yes, sir.
And can you describe those 2 individuals?
It'll be a white male, bald head, white shirt on the right, and it appears to be a juvenile on the left.
Right.
Oh,
Do you
child.
know, can you remember how far away they were from where the fire started?
According to the video, my
Your
recollection,
recollection.
I can't speak upon that because I
Okay.
didn't even know they were there until the video.
Did you just hear that noise? Can you play it back?
Play it back, please.
Yes, sir. You hear what that's on?
Yes, sir.
You know what that is?
It'll be a taser cycling.
All right, when you say a taser cycling, what do you mean a taser cycling?
So when a taser is utilized and the probes hit the subject, it cycles for 5 seconds.
And by cycles, you mean delivers electricity.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you know who fired that taser?
I can't speak upon that, sir.
Okay. You see the person in the frame that I'm circling right now?
Yes, sir.
And who is that person?
That'd be Crawford.
What did we just hear?
Kill the pump.
And you know who said that?
That'd be Crawford.
Right? Is that the command that you heard that led you to take the action you then took?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you see the dirt bike that you were referencing earlier?
Yes, sir. I do.
Right here by the side column?
Yes, sir.
And are all of the activities with the suspect who turns into a victim over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're just basically on the other side of the column.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the statement that was just made?
Yes, sir.
Do you know who made that statement?
That'd be Crawford.
And if I misstated, you tell me. He said, you're going to get tased again.
That's correct.
And now, just for your honor's benefit, it's the state's intention to play the next 11 minutes of the video.
Okay.
that whose lower body is on fire?
Deputy Crawford.
Where's the fire extinguisher? Where's the fire extinguisher? Everyone back up! Get out! Back up! 100 absolutely. You have D51.
We're starting on to Orange County University. Michelle, for the gas. Orange County on D51.
I don't know that. 9? Wawa, write that number. That number. Give me the phone. Give me this to the sheriff's office. Yeah, this deputy there too. So the officer right here, he has burns on his legs from the.
You have the extinguisher in your car?
The deputy for the sheriff's office. So I've been an officer, full burns from probably knee down. It's severe. We're gonna. Yeah, I'm looking at a number 3951. I don't. Yes. Dangerous. So they were at a gas pump trying to get a guy off the bike. His gasoline was dripping out of the vehicle, and something sparked it, and it just went. And he was one of the deputies next to it.
We got 4 units responding here. You got to get it ready.
How old are you? How old are you? He's 32.
You're supposed to run your ass with the car down. The car down.
Yeah, he's awake, conscious, breathing. What's wrong? No, man, we put out the fire. He just. Yes. Is anybody else burned? Ooh. Okay. We also have another deputy there. Yeah, he's completely alert. Yes. Yes, 2 deputies. Yes, right leg is burned. Yes. No, man, he's talking normal. He's so he's burned on his right leg and his left leg from knee down, and yeah. I don't know. We're checking right now. Just 1 second. So as of now, I don't see any burns on the upper body, just lower body. Yes. Yep.
Orange County 26 and there's 51.
No, my flyer's completely out.
I know. Oh, fuck.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yep, thank you.
my car.
Yep. Whose phone is this? Thank you.
You need your answer, you good?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
What's your number?
We have everything around for him.
Nope.
We'll cover ourselves. Just from the knee down.
Okay.
These two rescues.
We're going to get 2 rescues for FD. We have 2 officers hurt and 1 suspect.
Okay.
Restore ground units, FD coming, cell phone junction, now should be there, probably about 30, 40 seconds.
10 more seconds.
Hey, do you keep your ID in here, your wallet or anything?
You didn't have an ID on you at all?
Can you take it?
Yeah. He's a vehicle.
Now, I've stopped the video at 18:01 and 4 seconds. Do you see the injuries that you were describing earlier on the victim, Jean Barreto Vallarta?
Yes, sir.
Can you, if you want to use a laser pointer, bring the gun right here? Just circle the areas you talked about with the skin falling off and the burns. Okay?
Take over.
No, I'm just sorry, your name was...
Take me, please, take me,
Okay, what's your first name? John?
J-O-N-J-O-H-N?
Hey, John. John, I know you're in pain. You gotta listen to us. J-O-H-N? How do you spell your first name? John.
John.
I need.
I'll just shoot. What's your last name? Last name. John, I need you to listen to me and respond.
Please don't stop.
What's your last name? And you
Take me your hands off.
can't. What is your last name? John. What's your last name?
John.
John what?
Oh my God.
What is it? Breathe in and out. I'm gonna need your last name, okay? I know it's hard.
Close just a little bit.
Please, I need the
The
ambulance.
ambulance is here. What's your last name? Your last name.
Please, Barreto.
B-R, is it B-A-R-R-E-T-O? What's your date of birth? When were you born? Listen, after you do anything, I need your birthday. What is it? What's your birthday?
Oh my God, take the hands off, please.
They're here. They're going to be here in a few minutes. What's your birthday? Date of birth. I need it now. January what?
January, please.
What's the year?
January 6th.
Do you have a middle name? Do you have a middle name? John, spell your first name for me. Is it John?
Oh, Bob.
Okay, well, the fire department's going to come, but they're going to need your information. So if you want the fire department to help, you're going to have to give me the information. What's your first name, John? How do you spell it?
You can bring the lights up down. Thank you. Deputy DeJesus, when you ran up and observed Deputies Kofinas and Crawford, you said that the victim in the case was resisting, right?
Yes, sir.
And yet you didn't make any effort to help them or intervene in that resistance, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you try to help the two deputies?
From what I observed, it was a very confined space with two deputies on top of him. I didn't see the benefit of me going on top of it. It was just overcrowded and just too many people on top of him.
Did you have a taser with you that day?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever draw your taser?
No, sir.
Why wouldn't you, or why didn't you draw your taser or attempt to use it during this encounter?
I didn't see the need on my role on the call. I just wasn't hands-on, wasn't really involved in the use of force part.
Would you ever use your taser near the gas pumps?
No, sir.
Why not?
Just based off of agency policy.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barber?
Thank you, Judge.
You testified a little bit today about tasers and policies and things related to that, correct?
Yes, sir.
So have you gone through training on how to use a taser?
Yes, sir.
And where do you go through that training?
Through the agency provides the training.
Okay, is that something that you do at Police Academy or just at the agency?
Police Academy has a chapter on it, but the majority of the training, at least using and utilizing, is within the agency.
And so would you say you're familiar with the agency policies regarding use of tasers?
Yes, sir.
And you've read through them all?
Yes, sir.
And so you would agree that under Osceola County Sheriff's Office policies, it does state that the threatened use of a taser is a valid technique for de-escalation, correct?
Yes, sir.
Based on your training and experience, when a law enforcement officer threatens to use a level of force, do they always then thereafter follow up by using that force?
Not every single time.
Sometimes it's used as a bluff to gain compliance from resisting suspect, correct?
That's correct.
Now, you'd stated at some point you did turn on your lights and sirens on the way to the Wawa, right?
That's correct.
And you did that because you wanted to arrive on the scene before the suspect finished there, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you were driving fast on the way to Wawa then?
Yes, sir.
So you believe that this was a time-sensitive matter?
Yes, sir.
And you were concerned that the suspect was going to flee from the Wawa then if you didn't get there in time?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And were you concerned about the danger that could put other people in?
Yes, sir.
Specifically civilians,
Yes, sir.
other motorists,
Yes, sir.
other law enforcement officers?
Yes, sir.
Now, I believe you testified that when you arrived, you saw that the suspect was resisting against Deputy Crawford, Deputy Kofinas, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
In the entire time you were on scene, did you ever see Deputy Crawford, Deputy Kofinas gain control of the suspect's arms and get him in the handcuffs?
Not complete control, no, sir.
And the suspect was resisting the entire time he was there up until the moment the fire erupted, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Did you have an opportunity to observe where the suspect's hands were when Deputy Crawford and Deputy Kofinas were struggling with him on the ground?
I can't answer that accurately, no, sir.
That's all right. And you testified earlier that all the deputies at the Wawa were wearing their agency-issued uniforms, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And does that include patches and insignia?
Yes, sir.
And badges?
Yes, sir.
So you would say all those deputies were well marked and easily identifiable as law enforcement officers, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And there were no undercover deputies there? These were all uniformed?
Yes, sir.
Now, the entire time you were present at the Wawa, you only heard a taser discharge once, correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you personally observe who discharged that taser?
No, sir.
And you never saw Deputy Crawford discharge a taser at any time, did you?
Not visually, no, sir.
Now, you'd stated earlier that you heard Deputy Crawford verbally state a warning about the gasoline, right?
That's correct, yes, sir.
In fact, would you agree that he screamed that warning?
Yes, I can agree on that, yes, sir.
And so he said that very loudly then, right?
Yes, sir.
Loudly enough for everyone in the area to presumably hear?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Did you take that as a warning from Deputy Crawford about the danger posed by the gasoline on the ground?
Yes, sir.
And then after the fire is extinguished, which one? Right after the fire ignited, did you first go to assist Deputy Crawford?
Yes, sir.
And at some other point, you did go over to where the suspect, Mr. Barreto Bayerga, was, correct?
That's correct, sir.
When you went over to see the suspect, Barreto Bayerga, was he in handcuffs when you got over there?
Yes, sir.
Now, Deputy Crawford didn't put those handcuffs on him, did he?
I didn't observe the handcuffs being placed, but obviously he was on the ground, so he couldn't place the handcuffs.
Now, we watched some videos here today, correct?
Yes, sir.
And at one point in the video, did you see the suspect running across your in-car video camera on fire?
Yes, on reviewing, yes, sir.
And at that point, his arms were handcuffed, right? They were free. He was running with them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on that same video, you see Deputy Crawford run in a different direction on fire as well, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And then you went over to assist Deputy Crawford at that point, right?
Yes, sir.
Help him put out the fire.
Yes, sir.
And so then when you went over to Mr. Barreto Bayerga, he was in handcuffs, right?
Yes.
So logically speaking, Deputy Crawford could not have been the one to put handcuffs on him, right?
There's no way.
Right. So some other deputy on scene took it upon themselves to handcuff him, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as a law enforcement officer, are you trained to handcuff people who you believe pose a danger to officers?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Are you trained to handcuff people who you believe have committed crimes?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Now, you testified earlier prior to arriving to the Wawa, you had heard some radio transmissions, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And those radio transmissions included information and updates about the suspect fleeing, right?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And did those radio transmissions include information about him fleeing from a traffic stop?
Yes, sir.
And did it include those radio transmissions include information about the suspect, Mr. Barreto Bayerga, driving recklessly?
That's correct, yes, sir.
They include updates that he was doing wheelies on his bike,
That's correct, yes, sir.
and that he was running through red lights,
Yes, sir.
that he was driving on sidewalks,
Yes, sir.
and that he was doing legal U-turns. And based upon your law enforcement training and experience, are you taught that somebody who flees from police in that manner needs to be treated as if they are a dangerous individual?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Did you ever personally observe which deputy it was that drew a taser out at the Wawa?
No, sir.
And just to be clear, you never saw Deputy Crawford discharge a taser, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Based on all your training and experience as a law enforcement officer, if officers are in a scuffle fighting with someone, is it possible that weapons can sometimes be accidentally discharged?
Question calls for speculation.
Have you received any training as a law enforcement officer regarding tasers and firearms?
Yes, sir.
Does that training include any instruction about potential hazards or dangers that can be presented when deputies use firearms or tasers?
Yes, sir.
Does that training include any warnings about dangers posed by weapons? Sorry, let me rephrase that. Does that training include any instruction about dangers posed by weapons being accidentally discharged during hands-on scuffles? If you don't remember, that's fine.
I don't remember that part. I'm not saying that that's not included in the training. I just can't recall.
Now, when the state was questioning you, you testified that when you grabbed the bike and pulled on to move it, you didn't see any sparks, correct?
No. Yeah, I didn't visually see.
Now, the bike was laying flat on the ground, right?
That's correct.
And so, did you, I guess, get on the opposite side and pull it toward you? Is that how you attempted to pull it up?
It would be that it was laid down towards me, and I attempted just to pull it up.
Okay.
So I didn't go around, if that's what you're asking.
So if I'm you, I'm standing here. I guess like the handlebars and the seat are here, and the tires are facing away from me. Would that be accurate?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Right. And so where exactly did you grab the bike? Do you remember?
If I recall correctly, it'd be the handlebars.
Okay. Did you use one hand or two?
2 hands.
Okay. And they're both on the handlebars?
I don't want to give a definite answer on that. That'd be more assumption than
And that's fine. Yeah, we don't want you to assume. All right, so you grab the bike with 2 hands, and then when you're pulling it up, did you, I guess, more push it away from you or pull it towards you, or how was that action?
it would be more away for me to get the bike to sit upright.
Okay, so you're grabbing it and you're pushing it kind of away like that, up on the wheels.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you first grab the bike and it's laying flat and you immediately go to move it, I think you said you didn't see sparks, right?
Not visually, no, sir.
Now, if any metal parts, John, were you laying flat on the ground to where you can see what was going on where the bike met the concrete?
No, sir.
So you cannot say for sure whether any metal parts of that bike scraped against the concrete when you grabbed it, can you?
No, sir.
Can you also say for sure whether there was no sparks created by a metal piece of the bike scraping against the pavement? Did you in fact see a spark as soon as you touched the bike, and that's when the fire came?
I didn't visually see any spark.
Do you remember giving an interview back on April 27th, 2022 with a detective?
Regarding this case?
Regarding this case, did you sit down for an interview with a detective where they asked you questions and you answered?
I can't recall an interview.
Would it help refresh your recollection? Deputy, would it help refresh your memory or your recollection if you were to look at a summary of the interview?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach? And I have shown this to this date. And if at any point your memory is refreshed, just let us know.
Okay, I can recall the incident, yes, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach to retrieve?
You may.
So has your memory been refreshed?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember giving an interview with Detective Ashley Sobich back on February 27, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may the state line approach?
Yeah.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
My Honor.
Of course.
So when I looked up, the car right next to us was pumping gas. So I took the gas out of that. And then as soon as I turned, I realized the bike was pouring gas everywhere else. So as soon I tried grabbing the bike to lift it up so the gas was able to be pouring on us. And as soon as I touched it, it sparked. The fire came. And then I ran out. My aluminum fire went out.
So the state objects to impeachment because it has to be consistent with its testimony. And what I heard him say is the spark from the fire came. Not there was a spark, and then I saw the fire from the spark from the fire came. So that's not, first of all, he didn't say, I believe he said he didn't remember. I'm trying to remember now. I honestly don't remember what his testimony was. But the testimony I just saw was the witness saying, and then the spark from the fire came.
So what I wrote down in terms of the testimony about the sparks was that he did not see sparks when he moved the bike.
Right.
That's what I wrote down.
Correct. And now on the interview, he's saying as soon as I grabbed the bike, that's when I saw the spark and then the fire. So when he grabbed the bike, he did see a spark. So it's a completely inconsistent statement. It's the exact opposite of what he testified to, Judge.
Okay. You can impeach the witness. The objection's overruled.
So that I understand, we're going to play it for the board, which I think is the appropriate given response to you.
Well, he's already well, what he did, he testified that he did not see sparks when the bike moved, right? So then you refresh his recollection with the interview that he gave to the officer, or to the detective. You've confronted him with a statement, right? Okay. So either you can play the video, or I think that the jury needs to be able to hear exactly what the statement was that he said.
Yeah, my
right?
intention would be to play the video if I can have a moment, because I gotta get that connected real quick.
Yeah,
I know it's been playing with us a little bit today. I can have a moment, Your Honor.
no problem.
I know it's been playing with us a little bit today. I can have a moment, Your Honor.
No problem.
So I think on my end it's okay, perfect. All right, can I just test the audio before we bring them back in, Judge? That's what's been giving us the biggest issue. So it appears to be working, Judge. Is there a way to, if they're going to turn it up? Because I have it all the way up on my computer.
Try that. Yeah, all the way up.
That's it.
Okay, I mean, it's in evidence, and it's not in evidence.
Right. A little hard to hear. Let me try one more time. I just want to make sure they can hear the actual statement, Judge, before we bring them out. My opposing counsel may just save me, Judge. Yes, that's much better. Right here, I believe at this time we queued up just a few seconds prior to him saying that. I think we are ready for it.
We're good. Okay, nice to spend 10 minutes. We'll go ahead and read this regarding this.
you're ready.
Mr. Barber, you first.
Thank you.
And Debbie, you can see the screen behind you.
Yes, I can.
And do you recognize that to be a video and audio recording of the interview you gave on March 27, 2022?
Yes, sir.
And that interview was regarding the facts and the incident of what happened at the Wawa gas station we've been discussing today?
Yes, sir.
So when I looked up the car that missed us, the police asked me to the gas to that. And then as soon as I heard, I realized the lights pouring gas everywhere also. So as soon I tried to grab the light to look it up so the gas was easy pouring on us. And as soon as I touched it, the spark of the fire came. And then I ran out. My Google on fire ran out. And that's when I turned and started looking at it.
So, sir, you would agree that back on February 27, 2022, you took an oath to tell the truth during that interview as well?
Yes, sir.
And you agree that during that interview, you had told the detective that as soon as you grabbed the bike, you saw a spark and then the fire started, correct?
Can I say exactly what it stated? Can you say exactly what it stated?
Would you agree that back during that interview, you stated, I tried grabbing the bike to lift it up. As soon as I touched the bike, that's when the spark, and that's when the fire came.
Spark of the fire, yes, sir.
Nothing further, Judge.
Any redirect, Mr. Williams?
I do.
Okay.
So there was no spark. You were saying there's a spark, wasn't a fire, right?
That's what I was trying to indicate, yes, sir.
Right. Can we agree that you never saw law enforcement's initial contact with the suspect who became a victim, Gene Barreto Bayardo? Could you repeat that one more time?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So you don't know how that whole thing started, is that fair?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. So you were over the bike. Did the fire start underneath the bike?
All I recall is just flames coming up. I can't say where exactly.
You don't know where they came from?
As soon as I started lifting it up, that's when I saw the fire come up.
Would you agree with me that the evidence from the video would be the best evidence of where the fire came from?
Objection. It calls for him to give an opinion.
Sustained.
Was your body cam operating properly that day?
Yes, sir.
Having reviewed it, did it record everything accurately to your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
So, the last question, or a couple of questions I have is, you were asked some questions about your training and threats of using a taser. Do you remember those questions?
Yes, sir.
And counsel asked you if you're trained to make threats to use an item, right?
Yes, sir.
And you said that is part of your training to use a threat, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I believe you've testified that you did not see the actual discharge of the taser in this case.
Yes, sir.
But you did hear Deputy Crawford say, you're going to get tased again.
Yes, sir.
And can we agree that within a second of him saying that, the fire started?
According to the video, yes, sir.
No further
Objection,
questions.
Your
I
Honor, lack of personal knowledge is testified.
don't have any other questions.
Objections overruled. Deputy De Jesus, thank you. You may step down, sir. Is he excused?
He is excused and released. Yes.
Your Honor, I would ask to keep him under subpoena.